Good afternoon, everybody. Tess Crawley here, clinical and forensic psychologist and director of Dr. Tess Crawley and Associates. Now, we are at day 80 of my 90-day vlog challenge, which means I've got 10 days left of this vlog challenge, which is an amazing thing. I can't believe it's been 80 days, and in fact it's been more than 80 days because I did a 5-day vlog challenge before day 1 of this challenge, and I did a couple of random videos before that as well. So before long, I will have had 100 occasions where I've chatted to you all. Now, I'm just going to grab my laptop. Bear with me 2 seconds. Because I just want to share into the Stigma Rebellion. I'm a little bit disorganised because it's a Sunday today and I got distracted by the idea that we're at day 80, which is rather amazing. So today I have had a really lovely family Sunday. I hope you've had a really nice day doing whatever it is that you've been doing today. It's a gorgeous day here in Hobart, absolutely sunny, beautiful day, birds are tweeting, really couldn't ask for anything nicer. So we went out and we had pancakes this morning. If you're in Hobart, you might know the Margate train, which is a lovely little well, it's an old train and the carriages are done up with, some of them are shops. There's one that's a boutique beer thing, brewery, not brewery, what do you call it? Anyway, beer place in a carriage. And there's a lolly shop and there's a pancake carriage. So that one's called the Pancake Train. And we're often there on a Sunday having pancakes for brunch as a bit of a treat for the kids. And then they love to have a climb on the train and, of course, a raid on the lolly shop. I gave them a $5 budget, and the sad news was that, sorry, Mummy, we exceeded our budget. Anywho, so I don't know what you've been up to today. Hi, Amanda. Oh, my mum's always trying to drag me there. Let her drag you, Amanda. It's lovely. And they've also got they've got some seats outside. So when the weather's like this, it's actually really nice. And they've got there's a couple of other lovely little shops there, and there's a oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Beautiful antiques and stuff. You know, there's it's called Mother Wouldn't Like It, I think. Fabulous. I always buy something. In fact, today I bought the kids each a genuine Russian doll. You know, the dolls, the nesting dolls. They've got a name that's not coming to me right this very second in time. And I also got them each a genuine Swiss weather vane house, the one where the lady comes out when it's sunny and the man comes out when it's raining, and the kids are just fascinated. They cost me like $6 each or something, and the kids were just absolutely fascinated by these lovely little old wooden things that did special things. You know, the nesting dolls do something special, the weather houses do something special. So it was really quite a lovely little journey out. So Amanda, let your mum drag you to the Margate train. You'll have a lovely time, I promise. You'll at least have a nice coffee, because they do very nice coffee there. Now, I am just popping this post today into my groups because I'm going to talk about, today is day 1 of Psychology Week, National Psychology Week, and the Australian Psychological Society has all sorts of things going on for Psychology Week. So what they are doing is they are if you follow the Australian Psychological Society's Facebook page, you'll see that they're posting a daily tip for surviving in our increasingly digital and digitised world. And so they have actually got the theme for the Psychology Week this year is just saw your comment, Amanda, is thriving in the digital age. So let me find the meeting room, and then I think we're away. So, thriving in the digital age, what does that actually mean? And I've been thinking about that quite a bit because, of course, increasingly the work I've been doing very recently has been via social media. Now, I'm not providing treatment via social media, but a big part of what I'm about is sharing information, sharing my knowledge, sharing my experience and training, and there's a technical term for what I'm doing. Some of what I'm doing falls under the category of psychoeducation, and that's about, you know, sharing our learning on psychological matters ideas to help normalise people's experiences, to help educate the community, to help reduce stigma. As you know, reducing stigma is a huge part of why I do these videos. That's why I started the Stigma Rebellion. So we're also, as adults, we're having to quickly learn. You know, obviously when we went to school, we didn't have any of this stuff. We didn't have mobile phones, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have email, we didn't have computers in the classroom. So there's often a mismatch between what our experience of schooling was like and what our children's experience of schooling was like. And then in the background, we've got lots of noise about what's appropriate screen time, how much is too much, how much is appropriate, what type of screen time, what counts, what doesn't count, blah, 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 blah. You know, my kids, they at school, they have access to iPads in the classroom for certain activities, and my kids are learning to use technology to their advantage. So it's really a rapidly changing world. Now, I started university in 1995. So, you know, if we wanted to research things, we had to go to the library, we had to search things, we had to look up things on the library's computers, and if we wanted an article or, you know, a research paper that wasn't available in our university's library, we'd have to send off a written request, and then that article would be photocopied somewhere else in the world perhaps, and then sent to us in the mail. Now these days I can jump online and have access to that same article instantly. So the world has changed, our access to knowledge has changed. I was watching, I got distracted, but I watched the start of a video this morning by a guy called Gary Vaynerchuk. He's or Gary V, and he's an entrepreneur, he's a public speaker, he's one of those sort of motivational guys who I, you know, assume I'm going to hate and then find, oh, actually he's saying something that makes sense to me. He was talking this morning about the digital world changing how we behave as human beings. He was talking about the recent exposing of people in the entertainment industry for sexual misconduct and sexual crime, and he was saying that, you know, because the internet and the digital world is becoming our normal, that he said the bad guys are going to get away with less and less stuff. And he said we're in a grey area now where we as adults didn't grow up with the internet, so we're learning how to exist within this digital world. But our kids grow up with the internet. They grow up with exposure to instant access to stuff, but also this understanding that increasingly you don't get away with doing things. So he's saying that, you know, in another generation's time, like 20, 30 years time, his prediction was that there will be less bad behaviour by people in senior and leadership roles, because there'll be a whole generation of people who have grown up knowing that you just can't get away with stuff like you used to be able to. In fact, they won't even know that you used to be able to get away with certain stuff because, you know, the internet is pervasive. So how do we thrive on a day-to-day level now in this digital world? So the first tip, you know, I don't have the answers for Gary V's predictions for the future. I think it's an exciting time. I'm not afraid of this changing world. In fact, you know, I'm really proud that my almost 90-year-old grandmother is on Facebook and regularly comments on posts that I make, and she's a keen absorber of new information and new technology, and I just applaud her for that. In fact, she's been an inspiration for me for years in terms of being a businesswoman, and that's a story I will tell in more detail another time, because it's a story worth sharing. But today the APS had a tip around thriving in the digital age, and how do we make sure that we're not letting social media, for example, carry us away from our day. So how do we stop social media being a thief of time? Because that's probably one of the biggest complaints people have around social media, is that it sucks their day away from them. It's like falling down the rabbit hole. And before you know it, an hour has gone or worse. And so there are a number of things to do. So today, the APS's tip is check less. they're saying check social media less often during your day. Now that's easy to say, but of course every time you pick up your phone and there's the Facebook icon with a number on it on your home screen that tells you how many notifications you've got of people commenting on things or people posting certain things. If you're getting notifications, you might be getting notifications that I'm live online, for example. So there are a number of things you can do to help you check less. So you could, for example, put all your social media shortcuts on your phone into a folder that's not on your home screen. So you actually have to make a deliberate action to go and find your social media. You have to scroll across away from your home screen, and then you have to open a folder, and then you see what's going on with Facebook and so on. So making it a more deliberate choice to act on your social media rather than picking up your phone. Oh, there's a notification from Facebook, and whatever the reason you picked up your phone might get lost because you've been distracted by the fact that there was a Facebook notification there. Another really obvious one is to turn off your notifications. So for example, I don't see how many notifications I've got when I pick up my phone. The icon is on my home screen, but I can't see a number. So I don't know whether or not I've got things to check. I have to deliberately go into Facebook to see how many notifications I've got. Obviously, with the work I'm doing online at the moment, there's a lot of time that I do spend on social media, both posting information, reading, psychology-related articles so that I can share them with my communities online. But also, I'm just as guilty as anybody else of falling down the rabbit hole when it comes to time management with social media. So I'm actively looking at ways that I can reduce the risk that I fall down that rabbit hole. So one of the things I have done on my laptop, I have, if you go into Google Apps and search, or even if you're just going to a Google search engine and search Newsfeed Eradicator, sounds like kind of like a robot, but Newsfeed Eradicator, and you follow that, then what you can do is you can actually set it up on your laptop so that Facebook doesn't show you your newsfeed. So if you're like me using Facebook a lot for business, you can actually get rid of the distraction of your newsfeed when you're on your laptop doing work on social media and just post what you're posting, check the things that you deliberately want to check, and not get caught into that vortex, that time-stealing vortex of scrolling through your newsfeed. So that's something you can do on your laptop. On your phone, like I said before, you can move all your social media apps. All mine are in a folder called marketing, because that's mostly what I use social media for these days. I mean, it's a horrible word, marketing, but it puts everything together. So the things that I use for advertising, the things that I use for recruiting, the things that I use for promoting activities that we've got going on in the practice, it all falls under that tacky sounding umbrella called marketing. But that's a specific folder. I could easily have called it social media, I suppose. So I've got that specific folder on my phone, and all of my apps, all of my social media and other work-related apps are in that folder, and I have to go actually into that folder to check those things. There is another thing, and it is a bit of a I'm hearing increasingly that people are doing this because I use my phone for these Facebook Lives. It's a bit hard for me to delete the app off my phone because I do use it a lot. But increasingly I'm hearing stories of people saying that they're deleting Facebook off their phone and they're just using it on their laptop, or they're just using it via the internet. So they're going into Facebook from the internet app instead of having the Facebook app directly on their phone. So there are a number of things that you can do to reduce the amount of time you spend checking social media, because it's okay to check your notifications. So when I do check Facebook, the first thing I do is I click on the notification, the little bell that shows you how many notifications you've got. I click on that and I will scroll through my notifications and I'll deal with those, because I've often got people commenting or asking questions on the posts that I've put onto, within my communities on Facebook. If I'm busy, which is a lot of the time, I won't go beyond that notifications window. So I will just deal with the notifications I've got, and then I won't look at my actual news feed until, once the kids are in bed, I might sit down with a cup of tea and scroll, then do that sort of mindless scrolling through my newsfeed. So to all my friends who post wonderful things, it might take me days before I actually get to see what you've posted. Or and I know I do miss a lot of things on Facebook these days because I'm using it so much for work that I'm not spending as much time scrolling through my newsfeed. But that's also a deliberate choice because I know that I'm vulnerable to falling down that time wasting rabbit hole too. So have a think about what you can do in terms of just tweaking a little bit those little habits that we have. We pick up our phone and we check Facebook. We pick up our phone and we look at how many notifications we've got. We pick up our phone and we were going to call someone, we were going to book a doctor's appointment, but we see that we've got a notification from Facebook, so we check that first. Before we know it, an hour and a half's gone by and we've forgotten all about booking the doctor's appointment that we picked the phone up for in the first place. So it's okay to use social media. It's fine. It's part of the modern age and I celebrate that. But try being a bit more mindful about it. Try to make conscious choices about your use of social media. If you're in 1,000 groups on Facebook, and I sometimes, for example, people ask to join the Stigma Rebellion, for example, and when I get notifications of who wants to join the Stigma Rebellion, I can see that person. There's a little bit of a snippet of who that person is on that window. It just says their name, how many groups they belong to, approve, disapprove, pretty much is what I see. And some people are members of hundreds of groups, which is fine if that's your thing. But if you're worried about how much time you're spending on Facebook, I would go through and check the list of things that you've liked on Facebook, the number of pages that you've liked, the number of groups that you're belonging to. Perhaps cull those a little bit so you're getting less filler in your news feed that's no longer current. It might be some things were interesting once, but you're not really that interested anymore, but they're still popping up in your news feed. So you can cull that a little bit. And certainly check whether or not you're getting notifications and turn the notifications, either turn them off altogether or turn them off for the things that you don't really need to be notified about. So for example, I don't need to be notified every time somebody posts a group in post something in a local buy and sell group. I may not really need to follow a local buy and sell group, so I might decide to unfollow that group and turn off notifications. I can still be a member of that group if I want to, but I have to consciously go into that group's page to see what's going on in there. So being a bit more mindful, a bit more conscious about your use of social media. And I think, as parents, it's really important for us to have an understanding of how these things work so that we can teach our kids how to be a bit more mindful in their use of social media too. My kids are young enough that they don't have their own Facebook accounts and things like that, but I know that will come. And obviously between now and that time, things will have changed again and the challenges will be different, and we'll deal with that then. Another thing, just speaking about being parents and social media, there is a... I'll find the link and I'll put it in the comments because I can't remember the name of it exactly offhand, but it's the Office of the E-Safety Commissioner, I think it is, and they have a lot of really helpful tips about safety online, safety in the online world, tips for parents, tips for teenagers, and so on. So really good opportunity. Sorry, I'm just getting a notification my battery's going to go flat. So that's a really good page if you're interested in safety online, particularly as it relates to your kids. That's it for me today. Hope you're having a lovely Sunday. I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Tomorrow will be day 9 of the countdown towards day 90 of this 90-day vlog challenge. I'm already getting lots and lots of thoughts and ideas about what will take place after the end of the 90 days. If you've got some ideas or some suggestions or some requests, make sure you let me know what they are. But I will talk to you all again tomorrow. So have a fabulous Sunday evening wherever you are, and I look forward to talking to you then. Bye bye for now.